In the city of Chashnik, there was once a Mekusha or a Chossid of the Alter Rebbe that Rachmana litzlan didn't have any children. Always, when he would come to the Alter Rebbe, he would ask the Alter Rebbe for a bracha to have children. But the Rebbe would just push him off, and the Rebbe never answered him. Once, he insisted and persisted that he's not going to move away from the Alter Rebbe's door until he promises him that he should have children. And that's what he told the Alter Rebbe, I'm not leaving until you promise me. So at that time, the Alter Rebbe told him, travel to my mechutan, R Levi Yitzchok Barditchover, during Chanukah, and tell him that I sent you to him, and don't leave until he sends you away with a bracha. So the person traveled to Barditchov, Chanukah time, and he stayed there for many days, until R Levi Yitzchok Barditchover once called him, and he told him, no, your Rebbe, my mechutan, the Alter Rebbe, sent you to me. If you give me today 500 ruble, I promise you that you're going to have children. Now, this man was a well-respected man, and he had a decent parnasa, but he wasn't a gvir, he wasn't a very wealthy man, and 500 ruble was way beyond his regular means, and his own Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, never asked him for such amounts before. It seemed to him unrealistic. So he answered Rebbe Yitzchok Barditchover, I could only give 50 or 100, but 500, it's too much. But Rebbe Yitzchok Barditchover didn't agree to go down even 1 ruble, and the man just left the room of the tzaddik, all sad. That night, the man sat and thought about it, and he regretted his response today to the tzaddik, and he decided to come back to Rebbe Yitzchok Barditchover the next day and say that he's ready to give the whole amount. But Rebbe Yitzchok Barditchover told him when he came the next day, I'm not taking from you even 1 penny. If you would give me yesterday the whole amount, like I told you, then you would have had children. But now, no money in the world could help you. And he just sent him home. So the person went and he traveled to the Alter Rebbe back, and he poured his heart out to the Alter Rebbe about everything that happened, and he told him with the 500 rubles. So the Alter Rebbe told him, why did you do this foolish thing? Soon as my mechutan told you to give that amount of money, you should have given it to him, because then it was an opportune time to do this for you, because you should know that there is a big sin on your neshama, because once you were mevaze, you mocked a big Talmid Chacham, and the punishment from Shemayim for somebody who mocks a Talmid Chacham is that the person should not have any children, he should pass away without children. However, only according to the Rambam, a person is able to redeem his neshama from this sin with a kikar zahav. So that day that my mechutan asked you for that 500 ruble, that day was exactly the yahrzeit of the Rambam. And on the day of the yahrzeit of the Rambam, they paskin the halacha like him in all the worlds. And that's why my mechutan asked you that day to give him the 500 ruble, because that day, that was the value of a kikar zahav. But the next day, when it wasn't the Rambam's yahrzeit anymore, then you can paskin like the Rambam for that halacha. So when the Chossid heard that, he said back to the Alter Rebbe, why didn't you tell me to give you 500 ruble? Why did you send me to Rebbe Yitzchok Barditchover to ask for a bracha? You could have kept me here and on the Rambam's yahrzeit asked me for 500 ruble. And you are my Rebbe. If you would have told me to give 500 ruble, I would have given it right away. So the Alter Rebbe answered him, you should know that Talmid Chacham that you mocked was my teacher, was my Rebbe. And since it was my Rebbe, I did not have any permission to mix into this story. I cannot give somebody a kapara, a way out, for him mocking my own Rebbe. And that's why I sent you to my mechuton, Rebbe Levi Yitzchok Barditchover. We'll end off with an interesting difference that we see in the Nusach, the way the Rebbe said the bracha on Sfiras HaOmer in the early years. You could hear there's a few recordings from when the Rebbe davened for the Omer Tov Shin Chof Hey. And the way the Rebbe said the bracha Sfiras HaOmer In the later years, you have a lot of recordings from Tavshin Mem Ches. And before I play examples of both, I'm just going to point out the difference. In the earlier years, you could hear that the bracha is said with more, there's more tune to it, and specifically in two words. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam. So like the word ha'olam has a whole tune to it. Ha'olam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoso etzivonu al siraso eimer. Hayoim. So the word hayoim has a whole tune to it too. Hayoim, etc., etc. But in the later years, like Tavshin Mem Ches, it's much more simple and with less chazanas, if you may. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoso etzivonu al sfiras ha'omer hayoim. And we'll play one or two examples.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoso etzivonu al sfiras ha'omer hayim tisha oser yim shehem shnei shavuos v'chamisha yomim lo'im.